Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, 9:49 a.m., Wednesday, November 22nd. Mr. Ogunlana, coming at you in the morning time. Few things I want to talk about today is yesterday. And yesterday, what I want to say quickly about the day is I was about 66% productive. I had about 40 tasks, and I did about 32 of those tasks. No, excuse me, I had 50 tasks, and I did about 32 of those tasks. And I can attribute the lack of productivity yesterday with how I started off my day. On dreamthinkdesign.com, I post a think post, and the think post was about starting the day off right, having the rituals in the morning to start the day off right. And so just in case, just for your information, the think post on Dream Think Design is I am following the paradigm that I had described on some earlier tapes, where the dream part of the site are these casts that I do. They're all audio in nature. Eventually they will be video. And the think posts are audio, visual, sometimes text, sometimes mostly audio, visual. And the nature of these think posts is to get you to think. So I'm not as verbose on the post, nor do I try to drive a point home. It's usually some sort of quote, some sort of infographic. I like doing pictures for the think posts. And so it's going to be some sort of post, some sort of infographic. And so the nature of them is, like I said earlier, to get you to think. So check out that think post about having morning rituals. And this is actually for myself. So when I get this in the future, I can go back to it, because you've actually been doing a good job, and I want to congratulate you. And the reason I want to congratulate you is not necessarily just because you've been doing a good job, but because of your consistency and your concentration and your discipline that is being developed at this time. You have a series of rituals that you practice on a daily basis that is making you into the millionaire that you've always desired. Yesterday evening, I was listening to the $1 Million Secret, and he was speaking about audio suggestion. Again, a theme that is prevalent in the work of Napoleon Hill and others. And the significance of audio suggestion is he described as making an imprint on the subconscious mind, or on your spirit, so to speak, such that it will hand you back that which you've imprinted upon it. He described a few scenarios on how this process of imprinting on our subconscious mind either works for us or it can work against us. It made me think about how I started my day yesterday, and why I am going to be focused on starting my days off right, regardless of whatever challenge I find myself with early in the morning. Because he says in the work that whatever you imprint on your subconscious mind, it enacts through the sympathetic nervous system and begins to cause you to behave and attract that which you've imprinted upon it in your external life. I don't think I need to go into any details and create the same kinds of examples that he created in the work, because he did a good job with illustrating how attracting negative, or how thinking negative thoughts attracts negative consequences in our life, following the law of cause and effect, following the law of attraction, following the law of desire. So I want to again congratulate yourself for concentrating. Again, these are some principles going back to Vic Johnson's work about the 13 keys to success. Concentration is one of them. Discipline is another one of them. Being able to speak to myself in a positive fashion gives me the ability to speak to others in a positive fashion. I have my truth cards, and one of my truth cards says that I will dress neatly, I will smile sweetly, and I will speak cheerfully on this day. The significance of that statement says that how I treat myself, how I dress myself, essentially will be a reflection of how I approach others, how I speak to them, and how our relationship develops as a result of these things. This morning I got up this morning and did 80 push-ups, and I began to visualize what I desire in this life. Now, don't get me wrong. What I will say to people who listened, especially to the first part of this tape, especially on the part when I was just a few moments ago talking about audio suggestion, you might say that it may not work, because what happens if you think certain thoughts? What happens if you get a phone call? What happens if the night before, the day before, something happens, a person crosses you, lies on you, steals from you, whatever it is? The point of it all is to concentrate your mind. One of my other truth cards says, I think, therefore I am. I think great thoughts, therefore I have great thoughts, and that I am great. Do not spend time worrying about things that you cannot control. Do not spend time thinking about people that you cannot control. Do not spend time thinking about situations that people create that you do not have the control to govern and to make into what you desire. Just do not spend time. Don't spend the thought cycles on it. What you should actually be spending your thought cycles on are what you actually desire in this life. Here's something real that I know for a fact happened to me. When I was in middle school, I used to act out all the time. This was not middle school, but elementary school. This was a result of the lack of the father figure in my house, my biological father, where my mother had always had father figures around my biological father. And for all of those who are wondering what happened to them, listen to some of the earlier tapes where I describe who he is and what ended up happening between he and I, my mother, and the rest of my family. But to make a long story short, he wasn't there. And because he wasn't there, I acted out a whole lot in elementary school. Got detentions, was suspended a lot. And what ended up happening is, when I went to, I believe it was the 6th grade, 5th, 6th grade, I met a few individuals in my elementary school career that changed my life. One person whose name I will say, because she actually changed my life for the better, her name was Dr. Hunter. Dr. Hunter was a dark-skinned woman who was about 5 feet tall, 5 feet, I think 5 feet and a couple inches, who, to make a long story short, didn't really allow me to have my way and to do things in a destructive fashion in her classroom. So this is what Dr. Hunter did. Instead of getting me suspended, what she would do is she would excuse me, make me, after each class, after school, make me stay after school and make me write on the board, "I will not disrupt class," 100 times. The significance of this is, and I didn't know this at the time, and as I continue my terrorizing of elementary school, and I continued, but over time, I actually got better. And what I didn't know was because of this one small trick of the mind about how to impress upon the spirit of a person by using writing. And every time I acted up in class, I had to stay after school and write something on the board. I used to hate doing that, ladies and gentlemen, because I didn't think that it was worth my time to stand up and be writing something on the board as she made me do. But I did it anyway. And so the significance of it is it actually changed the way that I subconsciously operated over time, not realizing how it affected me. The series of statements that I wrote on the board: I would not disrupt class, I would do my work on time, I would be efficient with my time, I will do what I am told by the teacher. These things actually affected me. How, you might be wondering? Well, when I got into middle school, my life began to change. Over time, I began to make straight A's. I stopped becoming a disruption in class, and I became the leader in my class and in the classroom, as well as in my class itself. Especially when I got into high school, I became the student government president. I began to essentially run things, and it wasn't because I was so good. It was because I had the rituals that backed up my success. And you see, I am now realizing that it was the rituals that caused me to have these successes. Especially, and what's interesting about all of these rituals that I have is all of these rituals, where they are whether they stimulate me via audio, whether I stimulate myself via writing, and whether I stimulate myself vis-a-vis visual, using visual cues. All of these things create and impose upon myself, especially my subconscious mind, that which I want to impress upon it. So that's why it is very, very important that you, speaking to myself and everyone that's listening, spends time speaking to yourself, writing to yourself, thinking about yourself, doing things for yourself, because all of these things impress upon your mind, especially the part of you that is connected to the world around you, the part of you that is connected to what Napoleon Hill calls infinite intelligence. It imprints upon that being itself, or that instant spirit, that which you are speaking, doing, and behaving and watching. So if you spend time being negative all day, then you will have negative consequences happen to you. Negative things will be attracted to you. This is the law of attraction. And it's a reason why these things are known as laws. And so these things are very important. Wanted to take the time to talk to you about this because I think it's important. And because I also believe that you are important. And I know that as you get this message, you will continue to make good decisions in the future. Once again, this is Mr. Ogunlana. And if you find yourself in whatever place you find yourself, doing whatever you find yourself doing and your head's hung low, do me this favor. Like my father said to me a long time ago, and that is raise your head. Until the next time we speak.